Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into youth entrepreneurship.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we've got this report and even a YouTube video all about a program from the Jonesboro Business Association.
The JBA.
Exactly. And it's really for anyone who's ever wondered, like, how do you encourage that entrepreneurial spirit in young people?
Yeah.
Especially these days,
Mhm.
the world's changing so fast.
Absolutely. And it's not getting any slower.
Right. So let's see what we can learn, shall we?
Let's dive in.
So what makes this JBA program stand out? I mean, it's not your typical intro to business course.
No, not at all. It's really unique. They emphasize self-assessment.
Self-assessment. Before you even like write a business plan or anything.
Before all that. It's like they're saying, look, before you even think about starting a business, you really got to understand yourself.
Interesting. So how do they actually do that?
Well, the report gets into the nitty-gritty. They have this whole process where students, they identify their strengths, they figure out their risk tolerance, like how much risk are they comfortable with, and even their work style, like how do they like to work?
So it's like a personalized roadmap or something.
Kind of, yeah. It's like giving them the tools to figure out their own path.
I like that. And speaking of, being ready to jump in, I was looking at the stats in this report.
Yeah.
70% of the students, 70% already consider themselves high in risk tolerance and motivation.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know, right? Makes you wonder, like, what is it about this program? Or are these just some super driven kids?
That's a good question. I mean, I'd love to see more research on what's driving those numbers.
Me too. Like nature versus nurture, right? Now, the YouTube video we have, it also dives into why people become entrepreneurs in the first place.
It does. It's funny because, it lists all those classic motivations, financial independence, passion projects, the whole shebang.
Yeah, like the desire to change the world.
Right.
Should we play a little clip?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. Plays clip from YouTube video.
Some seek financial independence and the ability to control their own destiny. Others are driven by passion and a desire to turn their interest into a career. Entrepreneurs are often innovators, bringing new ideas and products to market. They also aim to solve problems and make a difference in their communities.
See, classic stuff.
Yeah, classic, but it's good to be reminded, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just talk. The report shows that the students, they get it. 72.2% of them specifically said that financial independence, that's a huge motivator for them.
So there's a real connection between what they're being taught and what's already on their minds.
Exactly. Okay, but beyond just, personal reasons, this program also teaches the practical stuff, like how to spot good business opportunities.
Oh, yeah. And they really stress the importance of staying up to date with new technologies.
Oh, that's smart. I mean, things change so fast.
Way fast. Which, makes me think about these students' scores in adaptability and resilience. Remember those?
Yeah. 52% high in adaptability and 43.9% for resilience. Not bad.
Not bad at all. It makes you wonder if they're doing some kind of, like, entrepreneur boot camp on the side.
Maybe. But seriously, those skills are essential. The business world, it's unpredictable, to say the least.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be able to roll with the punches and learn from your mistakes. Speaking of which, no program's perfect.
Right. Even this one. The report points out that students need more support when it comes to financial literacy and strategic thinking.
Interesting. I mean, those are things even experienced entrepreneurs sometimes struggle with.
It really highlights a bigger challenge in education,
Yeah.
How do you teach those kinds of skills effectively, especially to younger generations?
Well, I'm glad we're digging into it. So what stood out to you about those specific areas?
Well, for financial literacy, it's not just about like knowing how to budget, it's understanding the whole system, investments, fintech, all that.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around.
And then strategic thinking, it's not just planning, it's about like predicting challenges, seeing trends, making good decisions even when things are uncertain.
It's like thinking 10 steps ahead.
Exactly. But what's interesting? Even though the students need more help in these areas, the report says they're eager to learn, like they want to improve.
Oh, that's great. That's like having that growth mindset already built in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a fantastic foundation for any entrepreneur.
Okay, so they're self-aware, they're adaptable, and they're eager to learn. What's next? How is this actually playing out for them?
Well, let's see what the report says about the real-world impact of this program.
Okay, let's dive into that.
All right. So one of the big things the report highlights is that the students, they're actually able to spot real business opportunities out in the world.
Like they're not just, coming up with ideas in a classroom.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they're seeing gaps in the market, thinking of solutions, coming up with ideas that could actually work.
Wow. So they're not just learning about business. They're thinking like entrepreneurs.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, and it makes me think back to those high scores, like the adaptability and resilience. Do you think that helps them, spot those opportunities?
I think so. Think about it. If you're not afraid of a challenge, if you're ready to adapt, then you're probably more likely to see the potential in something that other people might just see as a problem.
That's a good point. Like they're not shying away from the tough stuff.
Right, exactly. And it's not just about having the right mindset. The program also gives them some tools, some frameworks,
Right.
to actually evaluate these opportunities.
So it's like a balance of instinct and knowledge.
Exactly. And one thing that really stood out to me in the report was how much emphasis they put on emerging
Oh,
technologies.
right. Like staying ahead of the curve
Yeah, it's not just about learning to code or something. It's about understanding how tech is changing everything.
and how to use that to your advantage.
Right. Right. Which actually ties back into, the financial literacy and strategic thinking stuff we were talking
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Even though they need more support in those areas, just being exposed to these concepts early on, I think that's huge.
It's like planting a seed, right?
Exactly. And those seeds, they'll keep growing as they learn more.
So it's not just about like what they know right now. It's about setting them up to be lifelong learners.
Absolutely. And honestly, in today's world, what could be more valuable than that?
So true. Okay, so we've got these JBA students. They're self-aware, they're adaptable, they're eager to learn, and now they're out there spotting opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
What's the overall impact looking like?
Well, the report talks about this really interesting outcome. Basically, the students, they come away feeling more confident.
Confident in what way?
Confident in their ability to actually make a difference in the world. Like, they can see themselves as entrepreneurs, as innovators, as people who can create something new.
I love that. So it's not just about, starting a business. It's about feeling empowered.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this program so special. It's not just teaching skills. It's building confidence. It's fostering that belief in yourself.
And that's something you can't really teach, can you?
Yeah.
It has to come from within.
Right. But you can create the environment, the support system that allows that confidence to flourish.
And that's what this JBA program seems to be doing.
Yeah. They're giving these students the tools, the knowledge, and the encouragement to really go after their dreams.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It really is. And it makes me think, even though this program's already doing some amazing things, there's always room for improvement, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, what if we were giving them feedback? What would we say?
Well, the report does mention, like we said, that students need more support with financial literacy and strategic thinking.
Right.
So maybe they could bring in some guest speakers, like successful entrepreneurs, financial experts, people who can share their real-world experience.
Oh, I like that. It's one thing to learn from a textbook, but it's another to hear from someone who's actually been there, done that.
Exactly. And for the financial literacy part, they could maybe partner with some local banks or credit unions.
Oh, that's smart to do some workshops, tailored for young entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Like how to understand credit, how to manage cash flow, even how to invest.
It's like giving them a head start in a really important area.
Exactly. But, beyond just the practical skills, I was also thinking about the community aspect.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
What if they created a space, maybe online or even a physical space where these students could connect with each other?
Oh, like a network of young entrepreneurs.
Exactly. They could share ideas, support each other, maybe even collaborate on projects.
That's a cool
It
idea.
would be like a mini ecosystem for entrepreneurial growth,
I love it. It's like taking the learning beyond the classroom.
Yeah. They could have mentors, they could do brainstorming sessions, they could even have like pitch competitions.
And that sense of community, that feeling of belonging, that could be so powerful for them.
I think so too. And it would create a network that lasts beyond the program itself.
Yeah, like a legacy of entrepreneurs supporting each other.
Exactly. So while this JBA program is already doing great work, there's always room to grow and to create an even bigger impact.
And it's exciting to think about all the possibilities.
Oh, absolutely. These young people, they have so much potential, and with the right support, who knows what they can achieve.
Okay, so we're going to leave our listeners with a question.
All right, hit them with it.
Imagine you're designing a youth entrepreneurship program. What's the one thing you'd prioritize to prepare students for the future of work?
Ooh, good one.
Like, think big. Think outside the box. What would you do to empower the next generation of innovators?
It's a question worth thinking about, and we'd love to hear your answers.
But before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about the power of education.
Yeah, yeah, it's something we don't always appreciate, do we?
No, we don't. But when you see it in action, like with these young entrepreneurs, it's really inspiring.
It reminds you that education is about more than just like memorizing
It's
facts.
about like opening your mind, learning how to think critically, and just being curious about the world.
Exactly. And when you combine that with, the right skills and support, that's when amazing things can happen.
So, what are some of the big takeaways from today's deep dive? What should our listeners remember?
Okay, well, I think the biggest one is self-awareness.
Right, knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, all that.
It's the foundation for everything else. And it's a lesson that applies to everyone, not just entrepreneurs.
Totally. Okay, what else?
Well, we talked a lot about adaptability and resilience.
Those are key, especially these days.
They really are. And the good news is, those are things you can learn. You can develop them.
So it's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect opportunity.
It's about being ready for anything.
Okay, that's two. What's the third?
Community. Having a network, a support system, that can make all the difference.
Whether it's mentors, peers, or just people who get what you're going through.
Yeah. It's about creating an environment where people can learn from each other, support each other, and just, feel like they're not alone.
So self-awareness, adaptability, resilience, and community. Those are the pillars.
That's it. And those are lessons that apply to, well, pretty much every aspect of life.
Exactly. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a student, or just, trying to figure things out.
And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep pushing the boundaries.
Because the world needs your ideas, your passion, your unique perspective.
Go out there and make your mark.
And, maybe someone listening right now, maybe they're that future innovator.
Wouldn't that be great?
I know, right? Like maybe they're hearing all this and it's sparking something in them.
Because it's not just about, starting a business. It's about a way of thinking, a way of looking at the world.
It's like seeing those challenges and not getting discouraged, but getting excited.
Right. Seeing the possibilities, not just the problems.
Okay, so as we wrap up, one last thought to leave our listeners with.
Ooh, I like these.
Okay, imagine this. You could go back in time, talk to your younger self.
Back when I had all that hair.
Right. But seriously, what's the one piece of advice, about work, about entrepreneurship? What would you tell yourself?
That's a tough one, but a good one.
Right. It's all about sparking that passion, that resilience, that drive to create something new.
I hope it gets people thinking, gets them reflecting on their own journeys.
Because the world needs those ideas, that energy, that fresh perspective.
Exactly. So go out there and make it happen.
And until next time,
Keep diving deep.
see ya.